Guys, you know that feeling you get in the morning after a big night out? Because our friends at Zbiotics are here to help. Zbiotics, pre-alcohol probiotic drink, is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. Invented by PhD scientists, designed to tackle tough mornings the night after drinking. Here's how this works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct that goes to your gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol creates an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make Zbiotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly. Zbiotics pre-alcohol is perfect for those who always have their health in mind and are looking to master the balance of work and play. So I want you to level up your recovery, and I want you to do it today. I'll get you 15% off your first order at checkout. All you got to do is click on the link in the description. Plus, Zbiotics offers a 100% money-back guarantee. If you are not satisfied for any reason, they will refund all of your money, no questions asked. Ilia Topuria has a new nickname. Are you aware of this? So, Ilia Topuria is fascinating to watch. By the way, he's now, it's in Spanish, but it translates to the legend. That is Ilia Topuria's new nickname. Now, you do what you want with that. You decide if that rolls off the tongue. But it's just another damn day that I get up and I start scrolling through the dirt sheets and I see a headline with Ilia Topuria. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the last time I didn't. It's been over a month. It has been over a month that he has stayed in the headlines. He doesn't have a fight. He hasn't thrown a punch. He doesn't technically have a declared weight class. We have all decided it's going to be 155 pounds. I'd be willing to bet that we're right. I'm only sharing for you that we have so little information, we don't even know that. He put out a cryptic message. And he said, when you find out who my next opponent is, your jaw's going to be dropped. It's not an exact quote, but this is what he says. It's going to be mind-blowing. There it is. And there would be nothing mind-blowing about him fighting Islam. I would just assume he's fighting Islam. He's the undefeated champion of the world. Islam is the world champion. I mean, I would just assume if you vacate and move up that you become the number one contender. This would be my assumption. He's been calling out Islam every day. He's been calling out Islam back when Islam was doing business with Saruki, and it ends up being Money Moicano. Ilia knew. He knew he was walking away from that belt. He was prepping us. I mean, looking back, right, he knew. He wasn't doing Volkanovski. He knew he wasn't doing 45. So my only point is there'd be nothing mind-blowing at all if he was to draw Islam. There'd be other impressive words. Awesome, competitive, anticipation. I mean, there'd be other words, but it wouldn't be mind-blowing at all. To be mind-blowing, he would have to have somebody that wasn't Islam. And I don't think that's going to happen, but there is some things. There are little clues being set down. As far as it goes with Islam, and this has happened many times, where Ramadan gets called into it, I only share with you, I mean, every year and every season, we do hear, this crew won't fight. It's tied to Ramadan. I'll just share with you, they do. That team has not missed a single fight due to Ramadan, so we don't totally know what to do with that, right? But it would be a way out. It would be a way to explain to our viewer how an undefeated champion of the world has moved to a weight class but is not the number one contender. It'd be a great way to explain to our viewer why he's taking on Charles Oliveira. So, by the way, I heard from Charles. There's been a little bit of a misinterpretation where I have actually given you the words accurately, but then I found out that those weren't the words that were meant to use. I just want to read this to you. So I got this I got this from Gabriel. He says, hey, do you want to do an interview with Charles? Bring him live on your show. Yes. I'm writing Gabriel back, but he watches the show, so he's yes, I want that. I want to speak to Charles, but let me know what I have to do. Is his English good enough? Do I have to bring in an interpreter? How? What do you need from me? I am very curious what Charles is going to do, because when I spoke to Charles through Gabriel, and then there was a manager, there was 4 degrees of separation. There was plenty of room to get this little game of telephone wrong, but the way I understood the message, Charles said, I'm not fighting Ilia. I'm not fighting Ilia unless he's got the belt. He wants to go and fight Islam and then come out the belt. I'm the #1 contender. I'm fighting for belts. I got Islam right now. Why would I fight Charles to get to Islam? And that made enough sense. Now I understand that everybody got their own idea and there's vision and people go back and forth and you end up doing it the way of the promotion. But I thought that this was the interpretation. It's not. I mean, they got a hold of me to let me know very clearly those are not the correct words. He will fight Ilia right now. And I said, but see, now I'm starting to wonder. I mean, the same way that Islam has set down little Easter eggs about what he's going to do and reasons why certain time frames doesn't work. The same way that when we look back, Ilia had very clearly telegraphed this move. Ilia had his mind made up, I believe, the night he fought Max. I believe that night that Lopez and Volkanovski were both in the audience, and Volkanovski made the move. Lopez should have cut past him and jumped in the octagon, but Volkanovski did it, and that fight got made. I believe the way that Ilia shook his hand and paid him respects, he knew in that moment he was never going to weigh 145 pounds again. I hope he actually weighs in on that. I'd be very curious. I really would. I know when that happened for me. I was getting ready to fight for a title at 185. And one of the few sins in the organization is to walk away from a belt. You can leave a division, but you don't leave a division on top. You don't retire. You don't go to a different class. You don't go to a different promotion. You do not leave a belt. I'm only sharing with you, historically speaking. I mean, I could go all the way back to a lawsuit involves BJ Penn in roughly the year 2007. You do not walk away from the belt. So, in 2005 was that lawsuit. So, when I look at it, I remember my time, it was right before I fought Anderson, and I knew. I was behind the stage waiting for the weigh-in, and I knew I will never weigh 185 pounds again. And I even remember thinking that outside of a terminal illness against my will, I will never weigh 185 again. And I wondered if, had I beat him and I become the champion, I would have been one of the guys, the big sin. When you decide, it is a lifestyle. It is a mentality. I cannot even tell you how difficult. The #1 reason fighters retire is because they don't want to make weight anymore. Khabib and 29-0, just for example, they would have got to 30-0. They were changing the wrong numbers. They were adding commas and zeros. They needed to change the weight class. You would have got Khabib. You'd have got him one more time. Khabib retired from the sport because he was done making 155. That's the truth. But there's no difference in Khabib and everybody else. It is the #1 reason that guys retire. Now, I'm telling that just to help illustrate the commitment. Right? You're in a fight as 15 or 25 men. You're going to buckle down. You're going to stay focused and tough. You're going to listen to your coach. You're going to do everything right in this moment. Okay. To make weight, you're going to buckle down and do everything right in every moment of your life for months. I'm just sharing that when you lose that, when whatever commitment, when whatever that is, that forces you to go to bed hungry and be at a calorie deficit, and that's before you dehydrate the water. I mean, a very rare and unusual thing for a human being to do. It goes against human nature. When you lose that absolute commitment. You are not going to beat that scale again. And it was a very sign of maturity with Ilia Topuria. And you've got two choices as a community. You can never see him fight again, or you can just never see him fight at 145. I mean, it was that serious. And I do think that it's interesting. I do think that night that he shook Volkanovski's hand because he was oddly unangry. Ilia Topuria, for a handsome guy, he gets pissed off pretty fast, man. I've seen guys come up, these YouTubers, and they want to take a body shot from him. He'd take his jacket off and send one of them right to their knee right there in the street. I've seen this happen. Like, don't mistake Mr. Handsome for Mr. Nice. And he had no problem that Volkanovski was in his face. He had no problem that Volkanovski was sharing that moment. He had no problem that Volkanovski and Lopez were teaming up, taking his moment. That's just normally a thing that would really upset him. And I'm starting to lean, like if I had to bet, if I had to hedge, there's something. There's something. How far along they are? Is it just conversation phase? Is there an offer and contract? There's something with Ilia and Charles brewing. And apparently, I'm getting the exclusive with Charles. And I hope to bring that to you tomorrow.